Hi everyone. Today we'll be conducting a mock interview here with Clara. I'm going to be pretending to be her interviewer, and I'm going to be interviewing her for an internship that she's applying for to be doing some research in the fields of biology. So, just a couple notes before we begin. You definitely want to approach the interview with enthusiasm. Your tone is going to be a huge part of it. You also want to arrive for your interview, if it is in person, 15 to 20 minutes early so that you're sure you're not late. Another important thing to remember is to dress professionally but also comfortably. You definitely don't want to wear anything too casual, but you don't want to wear clothes that are uncomfortable so that you're fidgeting the whole time during the interview. Okay. So Clara, let's begin. Hi Clara, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I have a couple of questions to ask you. Can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Yes. So I'm a rising junior at Ransom Everglades, a school in Coconut Grove. My favorite thing to do in the entire world is further my understanding of medicine. And I think that goes hand in hand with biology. Ever since I really got into the medical field and realized it was a possible career path for me, I volunteered at hospitals and also worked at another research facility. And now I'm looking to further my experience.
Great. So as Clara demonstrated, you want to make it a pitch. So you want to explain where you are now and how you got there and how this position will help you get to where you want to be in the future. So definitely Clara did all three of those. And another thing to do, which Clara also demonstrated, was you want to start right away when you answer questions. So you don't want to be like, well, just say, of course, and then just begin talking straight away. And always remember to speak loudly and enunciate. Okay. So Clara, why are you interested in applying for this internship?
The reason why I'm interested in applying is because I've heard you guys have a phenomenal research program, and I really wanted to benefit from that. The reason why is because I've been doing research myself with the Ransom Everglades Laser Spectroscopy Lab, and I published a paper. And now I wanted to further explore research, especially at your facilities.
Sounds great. So definitely when you're answering these questions, make sure to make it personal and explain why this program is so special. Okay. My next question is, Clara, do you have any work experience?
Yes, I do have work experience. I first worked educating STEM at my local nursery. Well, the nursery I went when I was very young. And afterwards, I volunteered at Mercy Hospital. And then I started volunteering in their pathology lab. And afterwards, I realized that research was something I was very interested in after I heard a lot about the research programs that were happening at the pathology laboratory with medical students. So I decided to go on a research program with Ransom, and I continue contributing to their research program. And now I wanted to further expand my roots and learn more.
That's amazing. So as you saw, Clara showed an answer that was a story. So definitely when you make it a story, it's a lot more palatable for the interviewer to understand why you're really interested in this position. Okay. So then you'll get a couple questions normally about school. So my first question that's kind of in the area of school is, what are your favorite classes and subjects?
Okay, so my favorite subject definitely has to be English. And the reason why I love English class is because we're always asked to analyze some different book, and it always has some application, even if it is the most mundane reading, to my daily life and to the events I see in my day to day life. And I think it's so special to be able to get those analysis and apply that to any situation that's thrown at you. And I feel the same way with science. I feel that my own analysis is important in the field, and I've been really grateful to have great teachers who have accepted my analysis and also encouraged it, just like my English teachers. And I wanted to do that more in the future, but with science, because I knew that my knowledge and understanding of science could help a lot of people.
That is one of the best answers I've ever heard, and I will explain to you why. So, because Clara is here applying for a biology internship, might think that she needs to say biology is her favorite subject. Well, of course, she definitely wants to demonstrate that she's interested in biology. By explaining why she loves English and that reasoning for that, she's given a better reason for her love of biology, and that she wants to help people through making her own analysis and having her own understanding. So that's really great. Okay, so Greta, are you involved in any extracurricular activities? And if so, what do you do after school?
Yes, I think I talked a little bit about them, but I think that one extracurricular that I do that's very special to my heart, it's almost like a second home, is Breakthrough. I made my own medicine elective at Breakthrough, and I'm still working there this summer. And I think it's amazing that they have a program where anybody can come teach. And I brought my own understanding and knowledge of medicine from everything that I've done there. And I've made sure that other students who were in my position a few years back have the same access to that knowledge and know how to apply for internships in medicine and how to know more about the field at an early stage of their lives.
Amazing. So, of course, a lot of us do a lot of different things after school. So, you definitely don't want to list everything you do. I would say, as Greta showed, you definitely want to focus in on one or two that are really special to you, explain why they're so special, and ones that you really spend a lot of time doing. If you do something once or twice a year, that's definitely not what you want to focus on when you're talking about it in an interview. Okay, great, Greta. So, my next question is, where do you see yourself in the future? And I'm going to couple this with what are your career goals and what do you want to do in the future? All these type of questions that you might be asked in an interview.
Got it. So I'm really looking towards the future to first go to medical school because I just love the practice of medicine. Knowing that I'm making a huge impact on someone's individual health is really important to me. But at the same time, I enjoy making sure that my community is helped in some kind of way by the medical field. And I want to work with communities more closely by pursuing public health. So that's kind of the route that I want to go in the future.
Great. Definitely be specific when you're answering. So we are all mostly high school students. So no one's really expecting us to predict the future or know for sure that this is the career path we want to go on. But if you show that you're interested in something and that you have a vision for yourself in the future, it definitely shows that you're a more dedicated and interested student than if you're just like, I don't know, because you definitely want to further the interview. Something that I've been told is that the interview ends when you stop talking. So if you don't give up a lot of information about yourself in an interview, the interviewer can't respond to that and can't form like a deeper impression of you. So you definitely, even though it might feel uncomfortable to say something that you're not really sure about, you definitely want to give an idea of what your career aspirations are. Okay. So another question that might be a little uncomfortable at times is, what is a challenge that you've overcome? And this might be coupled with the question, what are your weaknesses?
So I think that when someone's answering this question, it's really important to um, look at anything in your life that has definitely been difficult to deal with, but also just experiences that people would look over that are really important if you show the impact they've had on your life. For example, I remember that my chemistry honors class was definitely difficult for me because I had to accept failure in a different way. Before, I knew that if I would fail, I would be okay with it, but never to the extent in which I was put into Mr. Camacho's class. Of course, I didn't fail all the time, but most of the time it was difficult for me, and I did fail lots of times. And at the end of the year, I started seeing those failures more as opportunities than as reflections of my incompetency, which I think is the most important thing that I got out of Mr. Camacho's class.
That is a fantastic answer. I think a lot of people, as Clara was kind of talking about before, might approach these questions thinking, oh my gosh, a challenge. It has to be something grand, like hiking Mount Everest. No, like they understand that you're high school students. Your biggest challenge might be as a senior, it might be the college application process. It might be a chemistry class. It might be an English class, something that you overcame. That's the most important. Like that you succeeded. But you definitely want to make it personal and relevant. And I think Clara did that perfectly. She talked about a specific experience in a class where she had a lot of failure, and then when she learned from it, she learned that she wasn't incompetent, that she saw them as opportunities. Perfect answer, Clara. Okay, so this might be another question I might not be as popular, but you might be asked. So, Clara, what do you do for fun?
Um, One of my favorite things to do for fun, I know it might sound strange, but well, it's not that strange, I guess. But one of my favorite things I do for fun is play The Sims. Or I remember when I was really little, I would I had this room at the back of my mom and dad's office because I would spend a lot of time there. And I loved building sets of houses and hotels and restaurants and making sure that all of my toys were well fed and well rested. There is something so fun to me about making sure that whether it's in a video game or whether it's in real life with toys, things are being taken care of. Or I love taking care of my cat, for example. So I think that's one of the something that I enjoy doing. But another hobby of mine is definitely paddleboarding. It's something I love to do just because it makes me feel very active and also it makes me feel very connected to the world around me. So, yeah, those are two things.
Yeah, great answers. Kind of the same as with the weaknesses question. You want to make it realistic. You don't have to say, like, oh, I enjoy reading biology journals. Like, no, they know you're a kid. You can say playing video games. You can say hanging out with your friends, watching movies. All these things are really normal. So, yeah, they just want to see that you're human. And you definitely want to make your answer, as Kara did very well. You just really want to make it human, show that you're a real person with feelings and like everyone else. Okay. And just a last note, you know your stuff. The interview is about you. There's no wrong answers, there's no right answers. It's all about what you make it. So just remember that. Have confidence and you'll do great. Okay. So the last question that will always be asked in interviews is, do you have any questions for me? And you definitely want to ask something.
I think one of the questions I have for you is what are you looking for in someone that's interning with you?
Great question. So, what I would probably say is we're looking for someone who's organized, dedicated, and who's really interested in the subject. And I think you've demonstrated that really well. You've shown that you're really interested in the topics of biology, medicine, public health. And so you're a great candidate for our internship. Thank you, Greta.
You're welcome. Thank you, Maya. And I hope everybody enjoyed the interview.
Bye.